Welcome back, everybody. This is Module 1, the general topics. Whole lot of legalese in here, but basically it explains in detail the portions of the law that says, number one, who can buy it, buy it, own it, and then possess it, carry it. So let's go ahead and drop into that right now. So the first thing that we want to talk about is what it is, right? So the Texas legislature and then the governor signed the Firearm Carry Act of 2021. They passed House Bill 1927, which became the Firearm Carry Act of 2021, taking effect on September 1st of 2021. The new law will allow any law-abiding Texan who is at least 21 years of age to open or concealed carry a firearm in public without needing a special permit or license. This, of course, doesn't apply to anybody who's prohibited by law from possessing a firearm, a felon or a domestic abuse conviction, because they already cannot purchase, own, or carry a firearm. Though the act does cover long guns. In this quick course, we're going to specifically talk about handguns. Again, I'm going to say it again, it's important to note that anyone who is prohibited by law for possessing a firearm under a state or federal law will not gain the right to carry a firearm under the Texas Firearm Carry Act. The exact location where this can be found is in the Texas Constitutional Provision, Article 1, Subscript 23. Every citizen shall have the right to keep and bear arms in the lawful defense of him or herself or the state, but the legislature shall have power by law to regulate the wearing of arms with a view to prevent crime. This is the real meat of it, right? It's essentially talking about self-defense of yourself or another and the state. What do you got to know? Permitless carry means that a permit is not required to carry a concealed handgun. It's also known as constitutional carry or unrestricted carry. Some states talk about unrestricted, semi-restricted, partially restricted. What that means is certain forms of concealed carry may be legal without a permit, while others you have to have a permit. And then other states also regulate or institute laws for, age limits. But what we're talking about here is specifically in Texas, constitutional carry. What does that mean to us? Here's some terms that we need. Open carry. Open carry means carrying a gun in public, whether an individual besides the person who is carrying it is able to see it, either partially or in full view. Whether it's covered by a garment or something of that nature is kind of what it's talking about. Concealed carry is the practice of carrying a concealed weapon on one person's in public. As we talked about before, it's carried on your body, almost always in a holster or off body in a purse, backpack, or other specialized concealment thing, but really want to talk about keeping it in a holster at all times if you can. If you can see here in red, it's really important to make sure that you have some sort of device or holster that covers the trigger guard and the trigger to prevent a negligent discharge. We don't want to inadvertently shoot ourselves or shoot someone else. In the other firearms courses we offer, we talk about, don't just think about shooting, or to defend yourself, but you have to worry about what's behind the person you are shooting at, because there is a distinct possibility that the round will go through the person and into something else. So you always have to think, what I shoot may go behind someone. This also says some states limit concealed carry to handguns, whereas others allow the carry of concealed weapons. Texas has a separate statute which covers self-defense tools and weapons, and we will not get into that here. So, once again, according to the Texas Penal Code 46.02, A through 5, it talks about you have to carry your firearm in a holster, basically. So what it says right here, it is illegal to carry a handgun and intentionally display it in plain view of another person in a public place unless it's partially or wholly visible, open carry, but in a holster. The law applies to open holster and concealed holster carry where no part of the firearm is visible. It's very specific. Not carrying it around in your hand, that's brandishing, lifting up your garment, pulling out your firearm to show someone, that's brandishing. A lot of different things go to it. It should be in a holster at all times unless you're prepared to use it. One of the key components that we want to talk about is when you should carry it and when you should not carry it. Like this slide says, it really shouldn't have to be discussed, but it is. Do not carry your firearm if you've been drinking or if you plan on drinking. According to the new, a lot of the, not necessarily the new code, but the old Texas Penal Code 49.01 and the new statutes as well, 46.02 A through 6, basically say carry is prohibited if you are intoxicated other than on your property or property under your control or a private property under the consent of the owner. So if you're at home and you're drinking, technically it's not against the law, but you really shouldn't as a rule of thumb. Inside of or directly en route to a motor vehicle or watercraft that is owned by you or under your control or with the consent of the owner of the vehicle or watercraft. Folks, if you're going to drink alcohol, your best bet is to leave that firearm in a lockbox, okay? Locked in your vehicle, in your trunk, in a safe container. If you're going to drink or you're planning on drinking, just don't do it. Leave it at home. So that wraps up for us Module 1, who can own it, who can possess it, and how you can carry it. We're going to take a quick break and come back for Module 2. See you then.